So today we're going to talk about the psychology of self-comfort, but we're going to look at it from a really different angle, not as some kind of lifestyle choice, but as a quiet, powerful kind of strength that's, well, it's forged out of pure necessity. Let me just ask you this straight up. Are you your own safe place? For a lot of people, the answer to that is a quiet yes. It's a truth they've had to learn over time. And this isn't about choosing to be alone. It's about getting to a point where you realize you really didn't have another choice.
And that brings us to what we're really talking about here, a self-comforter. This is someone who learned step by step to be their own emotional support system. And the most important part of that sentence isn't what they became, it's why. Because there just wasn't anyone around who got it, who truly understood what they were feeling.
So, how does someone become a self-comforter? I mean, this isn't a personality trait you're just born with. Nope. It's a form of resilience, a whole skill set, really, that gets forged in the fire of some very specific life experiences. The journey pretty much always looks something like this. First, you do what everyone does. You reach out, you try to get comfort. But then you're met with, well, misunderstanding, or you're just dismissed. And after that happens enough times, a quiet shift happens. You learn to stop expecting it from other people. So what do? You turn inward. You become the very person you were looking for all along. And these are the kinds of responses that really kickstart that change. It's that awful feeling of being dismissed, of having your feelings completely invalidated. You know, when you hear something like, oh, you're just overreacting. You learn a tough lesson. Being vulnerable isn't always safe. So you start to build that safety inside yourself instead. All of this resilience, it actually builds into a kind of practical toolkit. Because self-comfort, it's not just some abstract idea, right? It's a real set of actions and internal habits that you develop to manage these really intense emotions completely on your own. And a lot of these actions, they're completely invisible to the outside world. This is the real art of self-soothing. It's that gentle internal dialogue, the conscious effort to take deep breaths to calm your system down. And it's the quiet strength that takes to just sit with a really difficult feeling and wait for it to pass. You learn to calm your own storms. This quote just puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? This isn't some self-care trend you see on social media. It's not a phase. For someone who's learned to be their own safe harbor, this is a core survival skill. Okay, so while this whole skill is born from a place of need, it actually creates some pretty profound strengths. You could almost think of it as a resilience superpower. It helps you build this kind of inner fortress that is incredibly hard for the outside world to shake. And this is where you see the huge contrast. To the rest of the world, these people look calm, collected, strong. They don't seem to panic easily, but that calm exterior, it's masking this incredibly rich and intense inner world. They feel everything so deeply, they've just become absolute masters at processing it all internally.
All of that intense internal work, it leads to a mastery of emotional awareness. These people are so highly attuned to their own internal states, they might not say a single word about it, but trust me, they know exactly when something feels off, and they know how to navigate that feeling. And out of that awareness grows this internal coach. They literally become their own motivator when they stumble. And they become their own unwavering voice of reassurance when life gets really, really tough. And this is the kind of self-talk that really fuels their resilience. It's that voice inside that says, you'll be okay. You've handled hard things before. See, it's not some fake, toxic positivity. It's a realistic, powerful reminder of their own strength, built on a whole history of getting through things. So what does this all add up to? True emotional resilience. It's not about feeling less. No way. It's about having an inner support system that is so strong you can create your own safety, no matter how chaotic the outside world gets. But, and this is a big but, this kind of strength doesn't come for free. Being your own constant source of support can be incredibly heavy. So let's talk about the hidden costs, the real challenges of this profound self-reliance. And here's the real paradox of their strength. Because they know exactly how bad it feels to be misunderstood, they often become the absolute best comforters for other people. They know what to say, and they know when just being silent is the most healing thing you can do. But it is so emotionally exhausting to constantly be giving the comfort that you so rarely get yourself. This just captures the core of that exhaustion perfectly. I mean, imagine being your own cheerleader, your own coach, your own therapist, 24/7. That constant emotional work, on top of everything else life throws at you, it carries a huge weight.
Because no matter how strong you are, that fundamental human desire for connection, it never really goes away. Deep down, there's this quiet, powerful wish for someone to finally see past the calm exterior and just get it, to understand their inner world without needing it all spelled out. So as we start to wrap this up, it's absolutely crucial that we reframe this entire experience. This isn't about some inability to connect with people. It's about the discovery of a different and maybe even deeper kind of strength. Let's be perfectly clear about this. Developing the ability to face your own emotional storms, to soothe your own heart, and to get yourself back on your feet again and again, that is not weakness. It is the very definition of emotional courage. So if any of this has resonated with you, I want you to really hear this. You learned how to hold yourself together when no one else could, or no one else would. And that is an incredible feat of strength that is absolutely worth honoring. In all of this, it leaves us with one final and really important question. It's a question that gets to the very heart of this journey and that tricky balance between our own inner strength and our universal need for connection. What happens when the strong one needs a safe place to rest?